girls. I hope you're all doing great, and I hope you're enjoying Explore so far. So, in the previous video, you've seen a detailed description of what usually goes into the software development lifecycle, and you've also learned a bit about design patterns, what design principles are, and then we touched a bit on some system architecture. And then we concluded by mentioning DevOps. But if you've noticed, we only really defined what development and operations are. And that was it. So, what is actually DevOps? That's what we're gonna dive into today. We'll design it, define it properly, and look at why it matters. And you'll also see that there are several DevOps tools out there, and each is built to make development and operations smoother. Now, this session is a part of a series of hands-on videos, and we'll break everything down step by step in the simplest way possible, so you don't have to worry about anything. But first, we're going to start with something I'm sure many of you have already seen in the guides that we've shared with you, or from tutorials, or maybe you've watched a video or something, or maybe you fiddled a bit with them. So we're going to be talking about GitHub. Let me clarify one thing. GitHub is a web-based platform, as you can see in the browser here. And basically, developers, me, you, and anyone who's into coding can host and share code, and it really just makes it easy to collaborate, track changes, and even work together on projects. But to actually use GitHub, you need Git installed locally. Now, what locally means is for it to be installed on your actual machine. If you're joining from a laptop or a PC, you need to have Git installed. All right? And Git basically is the version control system, but GitHub is the service that works on top of it. All right? Now, let's connect that into what you've already done. So, as you've seen in the previous sessions, you worked with Mistral AI and you used the model, an LLM model offered by Mistral AI, and you worked with its API, stuff like that. And you actually managed to build a simple chatbot. Then you learned how to introduce guardrails into that chatbot to make it more reliable. Now, of course, that is just optional. You can do that in a different way, by the way. The way that we did that isn't like just one standard way. Obviously, there are plenty of other ways. And then later on, you wrapped up your model using Fast API. And you've seen what Fast API is. You had an interesting session with Brenna on Fast API. So this is the exact code, that we basically wrapped up our model with. All right. We're gonna be diving a bit into it. Don't worry about anything. So let me start by saying that in this session, you're going to re-engineer this code. And as you can see, it's all in one file. Of course, that's not preferred, right? So we're gonna be re-engineering that code together, all right? And we'll break it down, organize it properly, and even rewrite it in a clean, professional way that follows good practices because, okay, writing code is not enough, right? And we've already talked a bit about that in the previous session. So just buckle up. This session is going to be interesting. So just a quick recommendation to watch this video and the videos that are like after this. Um, Make sure you're joining from another screen to make sure that you're applying um on the spot what you're learning. And if you're a multitasker like me, you can do that. If you're not, then you can just watch the video and then rewatch it again and apply. Just make sure that the concept sticks and stuff. And I'm pretty sure that it's gonna be just very straightforward and clear, so don't worry about that. So to start, we have this GitHub repository. It is public, so anyone can see it, and it is on All Girls Code organization. By the way, make sure to follow us if you haven't yet. This is the GitHub repo once again. All right. So just type that in your browser and you will find it. So what I'm gonna be doing first is I'm gonna be forking this GitHub repository by clicking on fork. Okay? So just give it a while. All right. So what we're gonna be doing next is basically you can keep it same name or you can just basically change the name. Doesn't really matter. We're just doing a demo here. So right now I'm just forking it. Forking basically means taking a copy of someone else's GitHub repository into our own GitHub account. So if you've noticed, the owner of this GitHub repository was Rena, and now I'm the owner. This is my username, my GitHub username. All right. And it's basically just saying, hey, I want my own version of this project and I'll make changes there. And then once we fork it, we'll have our own version and then we can update it, improve it however we like. And then after this, I'm gonna be basically making some changes and then I'm gonna be creating a pull request. So we're not gonna be doing this right now, but I'm just demonstrating that for you guys. You can make a pull request and the owner of the GitHub repo can accept that pull request. And what a pull request is when you ask the original owner of the repository to pull in your changes. So, in other words, you're suggesting improvements, and they can either choose to accept or reject them. In our case, Rena will be accepting that pull request later on. So that way her GitHub repo gets updated with our changes. And since we're all girls in STEM here, we don't want messy code sitting on our GitHub repositories, right? I mean, if you check this GitHub repo, it has no clear documentation and they're all in one file, which is obviously not preferred. We need to improve that, right? And actually, just a quick tip here. This is actually what developers work with, like literally all time. So if you're a software engineer or planning on becoming a software engineer or even an AI engineer, whatever is the path that you're choosing to dive into, um, you want to basically gain experience real quick, right? So those skills that we're covering are super important. And what I just demonstrated to you a few seconds ago, the forking and the pull request, is actually how you can contribute to open source projects. Now, in my free time, I usually like to contribute to some open source projects. Thought of mentioning that. So I literally just do the same and I basically clone the project, work on it locally and just update it and then do a PR or a pull request. So this is actually an example of a project I'm contributing to. So basically they can leave a comment, etc. So Yeah, I highly recommend that. And it's really a great way to gain experience. So after forking, we're gonna be cloning the project, but we're gonna be doing that in the next video. So I really hope that the information clicked. See you in the next video.